Romina is originally from Argentina and migrated to United States when she was 19 years old, thinking that she would stay there just for a while. Now she's been there for more than 20 years and has created a wonderful, successful life. In this interview, Romina shares that the secret ingredient for a successful immigrant is your attitude, which will help you build amazing things. Enjoy!
Hello everyone, I'm very happy today because I have one of our members at WYA. She's Romina and she's from Argentina, and she's today here to share her experience on how she migrated to the United States and all the process that she had to live. So welcome Romina for being here with us today.
Hi Diana, thank you for having me. This is wonderful.
Yeah, it is. I'm very happy that you're here. So I would love to start talking about your experience and how you decided to first move to United States, because I know it wasn't in your plans actually.
Not at all. You know, I've been here for 24 years, and the reason for me being here is because I came just for 3 months to, perfection my English. I was 19, my older sister was living here, so I just say, hey, I'm just gonna go there for 3 months, have fun, LA, I'm going to have fun and study at the same time. And then one thing led to another, and it's been 24 years that I've been here.
And that's amazing. So you were there actually, you were used to having this international experience thanks to your sister who was already living there and having all this experience of living in another country and having other kind of system. But what was your process? How suddenly everything led to another thing and then you stood there forever?
I know, it was not at all in my plans. Again, I was 19, I was gonna come here for 3 months, and then I was gonna go back to Argentina, enroll in university, and continue on with my life over there. I came here, I met someone a month after I came here. Obviously when I came here, I said, I don't want to meet anybody. I'm just going to study for 3 months, have fun, and then go back and continue with my life. And I met someone, and the relationship kept growing, and I stayed for like 9 months. I decided, after the first 3 months, I decided to take more classes and finish the program that I was enrolled in. So after 9 months of finishing the program and dating this person, my boyfriend at that time, I had to come to a decision and say, okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to go back to Argentina, or you're going to stay there? And it was a difficult decision at that point because, again, I came here, I wasn't planning on staying forever. But I was on a student visa, so I could keep renewing my student visa as long as I was studying. So at that moment, I had a choice and I had a decision to make, which was, okay, do I continue being here and try and see what's going to happen with this relationship, or I just let it go and go back? So it was a very difficult decision. Obviously, my parents, I talked to my mom, my brother, my father, my mother, my brother, they were in Argentina, and I was here with my older sister. They weren't expecting me to stay.
Of course not.
So I remember I called my mom. Well, at that time, let me say something. 25 years ago, there wasn't the communication that it is now. I used to write letters to my mom and talk to her maybe once a week, buying a calling card. It wasn't this amazing, video calling that there is now. So it was harder because you have to send letters and talk to them maybe once a week. So I remember talking to my sister and making the decision of staying. I said, I'm 20, I'm going to give it a go. If it doesn't work out, oh well, I'm go back to Argentina, I'm 21, I'm still young. And I think no matter what age, if you want to try something, go for it. I wouldn't see it as wasted time or, all these ideas that we put in our heads sometimes. So I decided to stay. I enrolled in university here. I continue on with my student visa. Then I switched to a working visa and so on and so forth. life here has been amazing for me. I don't know. I think to me, it wasn't a decision that I wanted to come here from the get-go, but I think life guided me to continue on my life here. So it's been really, really, really nice. Even though that relationship didn't work out, it lasted for 13 years.
Oh, wow.
So long time. Yes.
It's amazing because you were super young. So it was like more kind of a summer experience.
Totally. I was like having the time of my life. I was living here. I mean, it was so much fun. It wasn't even hard. I mean, I was going to school. I was doing everything that I was gonna do in my country, but I was doing it here. But since everything was new, the first few years, everything is good because it's new and you're trying new things and new foods and meeting new people from a lot of different countries, which is wonderful. You learn so much when you're around people from other countries. Sometimes when you're in your own element, you don't realize and you think maybe, oh, you know, my country's the best, or, you know, you have these ideas of, I don't know what's out there. Nowadays, when you start learning from other cultures, you realize, you know, we're all the same, and it's so beautiful to share different things with people from other cultures. You learn so much.
Yeah,
you learn so much as a person too.
I believe you have lived a very nice and welcoming experience because I don't believe it's kind of the same way at this moment like 24 years ago. I believe there are more complications on first being a student and having a student visa and then a working visa and then a permanent residence and then the citizenship.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And I'm not only talking about the United States, but I believe all over the world, the security or the system has been blocked a bit more or a lot more than 24 years ago. I'm very happy that you were able to actually experience all those things, like growing you as a person, but also growing as an immigrant during all those steps, because your integration was very organic, almost.
It was very exactly.
Yeah, I could even think that you didn't even feel like you were an immigrant. Am I correct?
Well, I mean, I think you still feel that you're an immigrant always, forever, even though I've been here for a long time. What happens is that because it was so organic, to me was like, I wouldn't call it a game because it wasn't a game. And there were moments that they were really tough and moments that they were hard. And, you know, you can't really work when you're on a student visa. So, and then you have to pay a lot of, you know, visas. There are other ways around things, I'm sure, with every immigrant. And I was living with my sister, who was just married. She just gotten married. And I end up living with her and her husband for like 2 years, you know. She was like, okay, enough, time to get your own place. Because I was only going to be there for 3 months. I said 2 years, you know. But I think for me, it was about meeting the people and knowing that when you're in a different country and maybe the people from your own country that you might not necessarily connect with in your country, in here, we're all the same. Like we're all, you know, no matter if you are older, younger, professional, not professional, it's kind of like you all belong in this world of, okay, we're all in this together because we're all not from here, so we really have to support each other. And not only from people from your culture, from other cultures. So I really love that support system that I had it because I was here with my sister and she had already started building that support system. But having that support system when you move to a different country, even if you don't know the people, is so important because you don't feel alone. Exactly. That's why WIA is such a, you know, treasure, because you're going to connect with people like we've been here already. And believe me, every time somebody new is new in town, you know that at least from your countries, like every community has their own little circles. And you hear when somebody is new, and then you are connected on social media because there are groups and things, and you're always there to give those people a hand. Like does anybody has a job, or that person is looking for a house, or this person just had a baby, do you have things, you know, and things like that. And that's just so wonderful. I think it's such a wonderful thing.
now that you're talking about the supporting system, of course, it's not only about a person who arrives from Argentina to United States, but it's also about all of us being strangers in a community, and how can we help each other, supporting and listening to our stories and learning about each other, as you're saying.
Yeah. And again, it's having that, is knowing that somebody's gonna hear you and listen to you. Because here, when you go to another country, your family is not there, so your friends become your family.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even more beautiful because you choose your family. You know, you say, okay, these people are going to be here for me and I'm going to be there for them. So when you create that support system, it's amazing, because you really don't feel alone anymore. Or at least it helps you go through the steps of growing and learning and establishing yourself in a different country easier. You know, it's
definitely
much better.
And you were talking about difficult times and challenges and stuff that wasn't happy or a game, as you were saying, all the time. Can you remember one of those moments when you were like, oh my God, I need a break right now?
You know, there are many moments, you know, when you're looking for jobs, or when you are changing careers or studying or enrolling in university. But I think the most difficult, at least for me, was not being there for happy or sad moments. You know, if somebody passes away and you can be there, or somebody gets married and you can be there, because obviously you have your responsibilities here. Mm-hmm. So you can't just pick up and go and leave everything, because obviously you here, you have a job, you have a house. You know, it's not that every day you can just take a plane and go. Yeah. Now I think it's much easier than 20 years ago. But still, you know, it's not, you cannot always do that. So I think that's the most challenging. Like,
how do you cope with that?
Yeah, it's hard, you know, having your support system, because it doesn't only happen to you, it happens to every single person that is in the same situation. So luckily it doesn't happen to everybody at the same time, so we can all support each other when those moments happen, and you can just help pick up the pieces in a way, because then sometimes you feel guilty. It's like, oh, if I would have been there, you know, maybe something would have been different. And we all have our own life and our own decisions. So if you're here, or if you're in a different place and your decision is to try and create a different experience, or live that journey for yourself, it's what you choose, and you shouldn't feel guilty or sad or bad because you cannot be, you know, you can be in two places at the same time.
No, of course not, even if we want it. Like I believe I already said this in another interview, but it's funny that you see your people or your family or your friends back in your country and they move on with their lives. And at the beginning, they maybe were inviting you to some kind of events, even if they knew that you were in another country, but they invited you. And until they stop doing it, because they know that it will also almost be impossible for you to make it. So they just stop doing it. And as they continue with their lives, you continue with yours. And it's kind of a breakup in a certain aspect, right?
Absolutely. And it happens to my friends. You know, I was right out of high school, so my friends didn't know that I was going to stay here. And for them, it was like tough. Like for me here, and I was living different experiences, everything was fun. But, you know, going back after a few years, when I went back, my friends were like, you know, I was heartbroken because I wasn't going to see you anymore. You know, you were going out with these people every weekend. And when you're 19, things are bigger. Well, not as much as when you're 17 or 16, but you went through high school together, you had that bond, and all of a sudden you break it.
Do you still see your friends?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm still friends with all of them from high school. I still connect. And now with social media, it's like you're there, which is amazing. But, you know, again, it's about decisions. It's like, okay, this is what I chose and this is the best for me, and I'm going to go for it now. But the reality is, at least for me, the way I feel, and I think it happens to a lot of immigrants, is like you become a citizen of the world. See, I am from Argentina and I have a US citizenship, but I don't consider myself either or. It's like when you go back to your country, obviously I'm from there, I speak the language and everything, but you go back there and there is this fine line where you feel you don't belong anymore because you've been out of it for so long. And when you're here, you still don't belong because you're not from here. So, however, both places welcome you, inside, or at least for me, I feel that I don't belong in either place. So I'm kind of like here and there. And that sense of when you go back to your country, there are things that, everyday things that you're not there anymore. So you might miss some of them. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course.
It's like,
definitely.
which is not good or bad. It's just what it is. You know?
It's just that, and I don't know if it happened to you, but then there's some people who have asked me before, would you go back to Mexico? And it is not because I don't love my country. I love my country so much, but I wouldn't go back to live forever again, because it is not that you no longer like it. It's just that you no longer feel like you're from there. And in a certain way, it's also sad. It's very sad, because it shouldn't be like that.
But I think it's something that clicks within you, and maybe you got used to living in a different way. And it's, again, like I said, it's not good or bad. It's just what it is. You decided, I just can't picture myself living there again. Today, maybe 10 years from now, I want to retire. Well, not in 10 years, maybe 20, but I want to retire, and maybe I'll retire there. You'll never know. Something positive that is not just for you, is for the rest of your family and friends. Let's talk about some positive things here, is that you're living in a different country. So for your family and friends, it's like, oh my God, it's the perfect opportunity to visit that country.
That
and
too.
Have a place to stay. They have, the ins and outs, so they can just come here and live as a local as opposed to as a tourist. So that's a good thing. And I believe me, I have family every other week. Sometimes you're like, okay, people.
Yeah, and
one of me and 1,000 of you.
Yeah, and once you have a house where you can welcome your guests, they don't have any excuse not to visit you, because they won't pay any hotel or anything.
Totally. So it's like, hey, I'm going there next week. Okay, no problem. Yeah. I have a couch. Yeah.
I would love to go back to 20 years ago, when you were recently migrated to United States. And do you have a bit of comparison there? Do you believe it was easier? Like, people was more welcoming in that moment than now? Do you see any difference?
I don't think so. I mean, I see a difference in the easiness of being able to communicate more. Like I said before, like everything is more like the internet. I mean, it wasn't there yet. So I was writing letters. I mean, I still have the letters that my mom used to send me. Like, who writes letters anymore? Like, nobody. So I don't think they were more welcoming or less welcoming. And it also depends on you. Okay, so if you migrate to a different country and you already feel like you're different, or no, I mean, at the beginning, I couldn't speak. I was like, even though I knew English, it was so hard. I remember like crying to my sister, like, I don't understand. I was watching TV, I didn't understand anything, So you feel like that part is hard, because you cannot get adjusted so quickly, but it's a process. And I think the most important is, even if you don't know the language, and even if things are hard, knowing that you're there doing the best you can, and you can still communicate with people even though you don't speak the language. You could do it back then, you can do it now with Google Translate. You just talk, and then it's so much easier. But I think it's all about your attitude and how you, if you're like all shy, oh no, nobody's gonna talk to me, or like, no, hey, this is me. I have an accent when I speak English, very strong accent, because again, I came here, I was older. I don't care. Like, if people can understand me when I'm talking, that's all I care. And then people like it. Oh, I like your accent. Where are you from? It's like a icebreaker. Where are you from? And then you start the conversation. And then you said, oh, I'm from this place. And oh my God, so great. And it's so nice. A lot of people, they have been to your country. A lot of people don't know where your country is either, like, okay. Or they think you speak a different language. It happens to me all the time.
Yeah, and you're right that it's all about the attitude, because even, for example, let's say that I ask you, oh, you have an accent, where are you from? It will depend how you take that, because sometimes
You
maybe
might feel less. You
I
may feel
feel,
like, oh no.
yeah, I do have an accent. Maybe they are judging me, and it's not about
Exactly.
that. Maybe they are really interested in knowing more about you. So
Absolutely.
it
And
is.
it's about the attitude. Because if you're like, yeah, hey, I have an accent, I'm from Argentina, and you're good with it, then people get that, and it's better, you know, you open up the conversation.
So you've already talked about this attitude, but what are other kind of qualities that we should have immigrants to succeed in our process?
Be open-minded and be open to the experience. Don't limit yourself, and don't feed yourself these limiting beliefs that, oh, things are gonna be this way or that way. And because I'm telling you my experience, or somebody else is telling you their experience, your experience could be completely different. You have to experience it yourself. And if you're making the decision to living in another country, just be open to anything, any experience. Don't limit yourself. Just be there with open arms, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the beautiful. um, I think that's the most important. It's not, don't have this preconception of, oh, life here should be like this or should be like that. And again, I have a lot of friends that they came here on their 30s when the economy in my country just collapsed and they have no other choice. And coming like that is a completely different story, because
Oh,
you have
yeah.
lost all your money, you don't have anything, you're starting fresh at 30, 40 years old in a different country. It's not the same.
No, definitely. And I've been very clear all this time that I know that I've been one of the privileged ones, for example, and
Yeah.
you too,
Yeah.
who was able to choose this path, and you were able to even see the map and say, I want to go here. But there are a
Yeah.
lot of other immigrants who are obligated and
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
to move to another country that they didn't even know that it exists, because they just need to go and leave immediately for, I don't know, war, persecution, political issues, even
Financial. Yeah.
financial, etc.
Absolutely. So
So
it's not the same.
it is not the same, but it helps. Like, for example, the attitude, I believe in those cases where people are rushed to leave to another country, is about the attitude of not letting life
Take you by
get on your
storm.
way.
Yeah.
Get on your way.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is something that we all, like the people who have participated on this series of interviews, I believe we should be very grateful of that. We've been, for instance, I really hope that we will be able to talk more about this kind of topics, but for instance, we've all been very very lucky on the way that we migrated.
Yeah. Absolutely. But again, even those people that they have no choice, they came here with hope, with hopes of a better future, with hopes of, you know, making things better for them. So if you have hope and if you have a good attitude and you try to surround yourself with people that can help you grow, I think that's a good recipe. If you come here already defeated and thinking, well, I don't know the language, you know, I don't have any money, I don't have any friends, it's hard, but you need to allow yourself to experience that fully and to surround yourself with people that are going to help you. And believe me, when you migrate, everybody helps you. Like, I don't know, it's just in people that are foreigners in a different place, is in their DNA. It's like, even if you're from okay, you're from Mexico, you just came here, what do you need? How can I help you?
Yeah.
Do you have a place to stay? Do you need anything? You know, let me contact some people if they can find you a job. What industry are you in? You know, and then you guide those people, you help them. Okay, this is where the people from Mexico hang out, this is the most popular restaurant in the area, or this
Yeah.
and there's so it's usually places like that when you start connecting food, restaurants. So for Argentinians, we have like 2 different restaurants that are the biggest ones here, and everybody goes there. So if you need to meet people, they're going to be there on Sunday.
There.
They're going to be there. So, you know, through the years, that's why building a community like that with resources like that and say, hey, if you're in LA, go to this place if you just arrived, because that's where you're going to feel at home. You're going to eat your food. You're going to connect with people that are from your culture, and that at least is going to help you feel better, and you might meet people that can give you a hand. But don't be afraid to ask for help at all, because everybody will help you. I've never met anybody that will say, no, thank you, I'm not going to help you. It will not happen.
Yeah, I believe it's our own blogs also who are making all this, because you know, you listen a lot of news in media who are saying a lot of stories, but they are very sad stories. But maybe they are not the reality that we are actually living, because I also had very beautiful experiences from other people who have helped me a lot when I was new here.
Exactly.
And I see in other groups and on Facebook or anywhere else, people who are looking for example, who has a mattress, who has a bed.
Oh, all the time.
Yes, you see. So
all the time.
But going back, for example, when you left university and you graduated, was it difficult for you to find a job in that moment?
It wasn't that difficult, but it wasn't easy. I mean, like, I think with everything, it's like even in your own country, like if you look for a job, I never had any problems. Like I was going from one place to another. I don't know if it was luck or if it was by, you know, I wasn't trying to find the best job at the beginning. I worked in restaurants for the longest time, you know, like, would I think I was want to work in a restaurant when I was in my country? No. Did I work here in a restaurant? Yes, a lot of years. Yeah. Did I love it? I love it. I met so many people, and it was for me a way to pay for my schooling. So I wasn't not proud of, I mean, I had a great time. I don't know. I think, again, it's all about with the attitude. It's like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is going to help me to go from point A to point B, and this is the only opportunity right now. Let's take it.
But it's also about adaptability, because, for example, the countries that we're coming from, that's not very usual to see a girl who's going to school. She always will stay at school until she graduates, and she won't work most of the time. Most of the parents will pay their school and will pay for everything that she or he needs, and then she will graduate or he will graduate, and then they'll start their real life and their real jobs. So
yeah, but not in my case.
No, but the things that you do, we're actually adapting to this new system where in North America, the majority of students are working at the same time to pay their scholarships or their universities.
Yeah, true.
So it was actually a win for you, because you saw that was going to be possible, that not being a waitress is not
so happy
about.
To me, it was amazing. It's like, wow, I can do this and pay. I mean, and I was making good money. Again, I'm not coming from a wealthy family. Like, okay, here is all this money and go live in a new country. I'm like, no, I have to work since I was like, before coming here. Like, to come here, I worked since I was 17 for 2 years to save money to pay for my ticket to come here and study, because it's expensive. And so when I had here the opportunity and I said, wow, this is awesome. Yeah, I'll take it. And I was studying part-time, working part-time. I still had time to have fun. And when you're young, things are easier.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. We accept and we do other things that maybe at our age right now wouldn't do, or maybe yes, I don't know.
But here, like, working in a restaurant is very common. Whoever comes new, and it's kind of like the way to make some money easy, and they pay you well. Like in our countries, they don't pay that well to work in a restaurant, but here you do. You make good money. So the majority of people that work in restaurants here are immigrants or actors that they need, a flexible schedule to go to auditions.
Yeah, yeah. And what made you go, like, for example, talking about that, and when you are starting to get money and waitressing actually gives you very good tips, and now in LA, I believe you were
Good
very
tips.
lucky with that.
I was making a lot of
I've seen a lot of people who are waiters or working in the service industry, and they just say, I'm okay because I have my rent is paid, everything that I need is paid, so I no longer need to go and study.
No, well, I don't know. That depends on the person. I mean, to me, I always had a goal, and my goal was to, since I decided to stay here, I wasn't going to just stay here doing nothing. You know, what am I going to do? I was like 21. I'm not just going to sit at the beach and, you know, rollerblade in Santa Monica. No. To me, I had a goal, and I said, okay, if my decision is to stay in this country, then I want to create some type of plan. So I went to school, I graduated, then I got a job, then another job, and started growing that way. I think in my case, maybe I even have better opportunities that I would have had in my country, most likely. Because I was at 21, I was living on my own, well, with my boyfriend at a time. I mean, in your country, you live with your parents until you get married. Like, you know, you don't have money to I don't know, to rent an apartment, at least in our countries, maybe. Yeah. Third world countries. But here in 21, I was living on my own. I had a job. I was going to school. I had my own car. I was like, wow. To me, it was like living the life.
Yeah, of course. So what are the biggest achievements that you believe that you've got being an immigrant? I know, for example, like you're saying, well, you went to university, that's a very big achievement, but more than that, like considering yourself an immigrant, what are your biggest achievements?
I don't know. I think everything that you achieve is big at that moment, and you live it like, wow, like, yeah, you graduate or you got a job, or, you know, I think to me is finding this support system, creating that family of friends that they're here no matter what, like they're there for you. So I think that's the most important, creating that bond with those people that you know they're gonna be there for you, and you're gonna be there for them. So again, every achievement that you get is gonna be big at that point, but I have grown so much as a person. I have learned a new language. I have met people from all over the world. I have traveled a lot, more than I could imagine. You know, I have ups and downs, breakups and divorces and marriages and everything. But everything happens for a reason. And I think if you believe in whatever you're living is the best thing for you at that moment, then that's what it is. It's your journey. You take it however you want to take it. So, and I'm always trying to see things in a positive light. You know, I don't live in La La Land, but I know that I prefer to look at the positive side of things, because it's, I don't know, I think it's better.
Always. So my final question would be, what would you say to yourself when you were 19 years old, grabbing your luggages in the airport and flying to United States, believing that you are going to stay there for 3 months?
Oh, I don't know, because again, like in my case, I was like, enjoy the moment, you know, like to me, again, at that moment, I was so happy. To me, it was the opportunity to be in the US at that age. I would do it all over again. I don't have any regrets at all. I think that's the most important. Don't have any regrets. Whatever you decide to go through, or the decisions that you make, don't have any regrets, because it's your life. It's not your parents' life, your friend's life, your neighbor's life. Is your life. So when you make decisions, own them, and don't have any regrets, even though then you realize down the line that it wasn't maybe the perfect decision, but at that moment it was the best you could do. So enjoy your life, you know, just remove the fear, enjoy your life.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful and powerful. because yeah, it doesn't matter if you're 19 years old or 37 or 50 or 70.
Doesn't matter.
The key is to enjoy that moment and your life how it is, and that's it.
And one other thing that I was just thinking about right now, I say, if I need to pick up anything right now and go to another country, I will do it. Don't get so attached to a place or to things or to a person. Like, live more freely in a way. Yeah, I have a house or whatever here, but if something comes up tomorrow and I need to move to anywhere else, yeah, I will do it. Why not? You know, life is about building experiences. So don't get, sometimes when we migrate to a different country, we feel so like, oh, I'm gonna leave my house, my friend, like your roots. You feel like you are attached to that place, but you're really not. Homes is where you make it. Home is here. You know, I'm getting very spiritual, but I think home it's right here. So if you live in a country, like in a house like this, or in a mansion or whatever, that's your home, no matter where you are in the world. So I think that's the most important.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And yeah, you're so right. Home is here where we are, and at this moment,
it's where you make it. Yeah, it's where you make it, no matter what the conditions are or anything.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Romina, for being again with us. And I hope that you will continue this amazing experience full of success and wonderful things. If you stay in the United States forever, may it be wonderful. And if
you'll never know, maybe I'll go live by you, Diana.
Exactly. And if you move to another country, may it be the most amazing experience as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I hope it won't be the last time that we have a conversation.
No, definitely not. I love chatting with you. Okay. And let me leave a message for everybody out there that is thinking of changing or moving to another country or changing jobs, or when they have a big decision, just go for it. Listen to yourself, listen to your heart. Forget about the noise outside and whatever else is telling you. Just, if you feel it, go for it, because it's probably a good experience for you. So, yeah, do it.
That's right. Yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
Thank you, Romina.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Ciao.